Hello students, in today's class we'll discuss regarding two-hinge darts. As you have already studied regarding three-hinge darts in the Stoichiometry 1, let us discuss regarding the two-hinge darts. The difference between the three-hinge darts and two-hinge darts also discussed, and we'll also discuss how to find out the reactions, bending moments, your force in a two-hinge darts. Arch basically is a curved girder having convexity upwards and supported at its ends. So if you draw a figure for this two-hinge darts, then you can see that we'll draw. Let us draw a. If we draw like this, this is a two-hinge dart. So it may be fixed at here. It may be hinged at here. It may be supported by any of these support conditions at the two ends. So that is basically called as two-hinge darts. So again, arts, any kind of load can come to the arts. That may be a point load, that may be a uniform distributed load. So that you have to take care by the arts. Now the supports must effectively arrest displacements in the vertical and horizontal direction. Only then there will be arch action. So you have already also studied what is the difference between a beam and arch. Beam is basically bending. Flexure is the important or bending because the beams. In case of arch, what happens? That's a horizontal thrust. So if you draw a arch, then the reactions is just like a vertical reaction and a horizontal reaction at both the ends. Okay. So it will draw like this. So there will be two ends. So there will be two. Now this horizontal thrust, what does it do? If you take bending moment at any section, that is equal to bending moment due to the vertical reaction multiplied with this distance x and this h into y. So this y is the ordinate of the arch. So at any section, the bending moment at any section will be equal to mx, be equal to v multiplied by x, or if you take support a, so va, so va multiplied by x minus h into y. Now, if it could have been beam, what happened in case of beam? It could have been like this. What is the moment at any section distance x from the support? The moment will be only this mx will be va into x. Okay, so this is the there is no load between this support and this section. Then the bending moment is equal to this reaction multiply x. But if you are providing an arch at the section, it is va into x minus this h into y. So this minus h into y reduces the bending moment at the section, and horizontal thrust gives compression section and the reduced bending moment. So the for the same bending moment, if you are providing a beam, then the section will be thicker, and since the moment is less at a particular section, so the requirements of the section requirement will be less, or thickness will be less, thickness will be required at the section. So this is basically the difference between the beam and arch. So now if you will go for the two-hinge arch, now this in case of two-hinge arch, if you go different type of two-hinge arch, there will be parabolic arch. The shape may be anything. Basically, we'll discuss on the parabolic arch and circular arch, but there may be other type of arch also can be constructed in the field. Now, it is statically indeterminate to first degree. What is statically indeterminate? Already you have know that you have the equilibrium equations on statics. That is your sigma v is equal to 0. Sigma m is equal to sigma h is equal to 0, and sigma m is equal to 0. So these are the three equilibrium conditions as you have studied in statistics. Now out of these three conditions, if three equations are known, or there will be three unknowns in the reactions, then that can be statically determinate. The reactions are more than 3, then it will be statically indeterminate. So suppose you have the 5 reactions, then it is equally indeterminate to second degree. So you can only solve the 3 unknowns can be solved, because we have the 3 equations, we can solve only 3 unknowns. If it is more than 3, then that is statically indeterminate. So you have to take any other methods to find out the reactions. Now, in this case of two hinged darts, as we have seen that 2 reactions at each end. 2 hinge means there will be a horizontal reaction and there will be a vertical reaction at one end. So if it is a hinge structure, then there will be 2 reactions, one vertical and one horizontal. So at both ends there will be 4 reactions. Now you have the three equations available in the equilibrium equations. So 3 unknowns can be found out, and it is indeterminate to the first degree. That is, it is indeterminate to first degree. So only 1 unknowns cannot be found out. So that is it is called indeterminate structure. There may be developed temperature stresses in arches because of the rise or fall of temperature. There will be increase or decrease in temperature stress. But it's structurally more efficient. You might have seen this old bridges. As you are reading in this university VS Institute Gurla, you have seen the power channel bridges on the main highway, that will be arch bridges are being used. And there are also developed stresses due to sinking of supports. There will be some support sinks, or there will be some settlement of the supports, then there will be also stresses will develop on these arches. Now, you can ask what is the difference between 3 hinged darts and the difference between 2 hinged darts. So, as we have already discussed, 3 hinged darts is a statically determined structure, because though there be 4 unknowns, but you have another hinge in the arch. So the 4th unknown can be solved from another equations available in case of a 3 hinged arch. That is statically determinate. And in case of in temperature causes increase in central rise, no stress. Easy to analyze because there are 3 unknowns, 3 equations. So you can directly put the 3 equations of equilibrium, sigma V0, sigma H0, sigma M0. So you can directly find out the unknowns. In construction, central hinge may also involve additional expenditure, because you are providing a hinge at the center or somewhere in this 3 hinge darts, so the cost will be more. Since it determinate, no stresses due to support sinking. So if there are some sinking of supports, there will be no stress like in case of a 2 hinge darts. So if you will make a tabular form to distinguish between the 2 hinge darts and 3 hinge darts, then find out in 2 hinge darts it is statically indeterminate to the first degree, while 3 hinge darts is a statically determinate structure. There may be temperature stress develop in case of 2 hinge darts, but in case of 3 hinge darts, increase in centralized, but there is no stresses, because you temperature the rise the centers, because you will provide the hanger works of the so that will be increase in the central rise. I think you know the central rise. Central rise means, so if this is your arch, so the spring is from this center line to this is called the central rise. This term is known as central rise. That is here. This central rise may increase. Okay. Now it is structurally more efficient with the bridge, but in 3 hinge bridge easy to analysis. But in construction there will be more cost is involved, because you are providing a 3rd hinge in case of 3 hinge darts. There will be stress developed due to sinking of supports in case of 2 hinge darts, but there will be no stress due to sinking of supports. So that is a determined structure in case of your 3 hinge darts. Now we will see what is the effect of yielding of supports in case of an arch. So how will find out if the support shrinks? Yielding of supports has no effect in case of a 3 hinge dart, but which is determinate. But the displacement must be taken into account when we analyze a 2 hinge or a fixed arch. Because again, if you go to fixed arch, what the number of degree of statical indeterminacy? because fixed arch means there will be three components at each end. So there will be six unknowns in case of fixed arch. Two hinged arch 4, and if you go for a fixed arch, like that means this is a arch and it is fixed at this location and fixed also at these locations. Okay, so there will be a vertical reaction, there will be a horizontal reaction, and there will be a movement here. Okay, M. Similarly, here will be a vertical reaction, one horizontal reaction, and also one movement will come here. So there will be 3 plus 3, 6 unknowns, but as from statistics we can solve only 3. So there are 3. It is statically indifferent to 3. That is 1 degree indeterminacy, so 3 degree of indeterminacy will come in case of fixed arch. Now, how will solve the problem? Because if you take del U by del H, if there's a sinking or the settlement in H direction as well as the Y direction and X direction, so your del U by del H will not equal to 0. U means is the strain energy. Total, how to find strain energy? You can know due to bending, you can find strain energy. Due to shear, you can find strain energy. Due to axial load, you can also find energy. So already you have taught how to find out strain energy. The total strain energy with respect to H, if you will take the derivative as H is unknown, that will be delta H. If there is a settlement, if there is no settlement, the delta H will be equal to 0. Similarly, delta U by delta VA will be equal to your this settlement in vertical direction, because if there is no settlement in case of determinate structure, this del U by del VA is equal del VA is equal to 0. So U is the strain energy of the arch. H and VA are the displacements due to yielding of supports. With support yields, then you can find the values. Now let us come to these two hinged arches. Two hinged arch, as already you have discussed, is statically indeterminate structure to degree 1, because each end there will be again 2 reactions, vertical and horizontal reactions. So there will be total 4 reactions, out of which 3 can be determined statically, but there will be 1 degree of static indeterminacy. The cross section of arch may different shapes for which commonly used. Generally, we have discussed that we will discuss regarding the parabolic arch as well as the circular arch, because we know the shape of the now let us give a typical 2 hinged arch we have shown in this figure, and you see there are 4 unknowns, every hinged. There is a vertical reaction RA and HA, and here is RB and HB, and there are some kind of loads, and this is called the span. From here to here, you can see from here to here, this is the span. Center to center of the support is called the span of the arch, and from this joining from the center to center, if you take the joining this center to center, and with this your top, the crown, then that is called your rise. So this is nothing, this is called as the rise of this arch. That also you know earlier. So this terminology required for this finding the problems, and based on this span and rise, you can find these slopes and other things required for your calculation part. Now the fourth equation is written considering now out of these 4 unknowns, 3 can be determined by equation of statics, but the fourth, you need another equation is required, because 4 unknowns you need the 4 equations. So the fourth equation is written considering deformation of the arch. The unknown redundant reaction is calculated by noting that horizontal displacement of the hinge is 0, because these H and S, they are equal and opposite nature, so there will be no horizontal deformation. So you can put delta H by energy by delta H is equal to 0. So the horizontal displacement hinge HB is equal to 0. If HA can be calculated, HB will be equal to 0 the deformation. The horizontal reaction in 2 hinged arch is evaluated by application of theorem of least work, which states that the partial derivative of the strain energy of a statically indeterminate structure with respect to statically indeterminate action should vanish or 0. So you read once again, what is the theorem of least work? or you can use the also strain energy as we have told. The partial derivative of the strain energy, that means your del U, partial derivative of the strain energy of a statically indeterminate structure with respect to statically indeterminate action. So we have these four unknowns. You can say this VA, HA, and VB and HB. So there will be four unknowns. So now out of the four, if you are able to calculate this VB, then your VA and HA by using equation of statics, the only indeterminate reaction is HB. So you can take del U by this indeterminate action. What is the indeterminate action? HB. So we can say del U by del H. If HA is equal to HB, HA is equal to HB is equal to H, so that is equal to 0. So you can put this HB or H, writing reactions, you can find this value is equal to 0. So that should vanish, means this value is equal to 0. If there is some settlement, then this is equal to some value of delta. Okay. Hence, to obtain horizontal reaction, one must develop an expression for strain energy. Typically, any section the arch is subjected to shear force V, that is reaction V, and bending M, and the axial compression N. The strain energy due to bending is calculated from the following expression. Let us see how we calculate this bending energy due to bending, which is predominant. Now you can calculate the bending energy is equal to, already this thing been taught you that energy is equal to m square by 2ei by ds, where m is the equation for bending moment, and it is varies from 0 to s. S may be any value that range you have to see depending on loading, where the load is given, how the section you are taking. 0 to L may be in a different parts, 0 to L by 2 and L by 2L, or 0 to L by 4, L by 4 to L. So depending on the section and the loading part, loading on the structure, this energy can be obtained from the bending equation. In the above equation, is the length of the central line of the arch is S, I is the moment of inertia, okay, and of the arch of the cross section. So I is the moment of inertia, is the Young's modulus, and S is the length of the span. So you can 0 to L, 0 to S, 0 to A, it is up to you, whatever the value you can take, but you can find the total strain energy of the section, and E is the Young's modulus of the material. The strain energy to shear is small as compared to the strain energy due to bending, and hence it is neglected in the analysis. You can take energy due to shear because there is a shear force, because of the vertical reaction there will be shear. So shear energy can also, you can include one very accurate calculations that can be included, but because the bending is very predominant, so we can calculate energy by the bending equations. Now this total energy of the arch now is given by the only bending. So if you take the bending energy, you can calculate this unknown value of the reaction. Now we put the principle of least work. What the least work we have seen, that del U by del H is equal to 0. Okay, I have told, already explained you that the reactions, the horizontal reactions, there will be at one left support, one at the right support. But since there is no horizontal load acting on the structure, that HA is equal to HP, they are equal in opposite direction. So that is being, we can write down del U by del H is equal to 0. Okay, so calculate the strain energy by using the bending moment equations you know for the entire structure. Then take partial derivative with respect to H, that will give you the value of the static indeterminacy by action, that is H. Now if you take del U by del H, now m square if you take partial derivative, that will be del M by del H. Okay, and 2 will cancel, because if you take what will the m square, it will be m square means will be 2. Okay, 2m then del M by del H. Okay, you know this mathematics for this partial derivative. So there is a 2ei on the bottom, so 2 to cancel, so you can find out this m by ei into del M by del H into ds is equal to 0. That is the horizontal displacement of one end with respect to other end. This what is this 0? Basically this is the relative displacement. Del U by del H is equal to the relative displacement of one support with respect to the other support. Because the because your supports are unyielding, then it is equal to 0. If they are yielding, then this value will be equal to the value that is yielded. Let it be 1 mm, 2 mm, or some values will become, and that del by del H is that value. So the unknown can be directly obtained. Now solving the above equation, the horizontal H will be equal to, you can simple write out like this. If your bending moment at any section, what the bending moment at any section? Bending moment due to the simple supported minus H into Y. I have already explained that thing. Let me again explain this arch equation. What you find out in case of the arch? So now if your arch is like this, then you have a vertical reaction here and a horizontal reaction here, and you are calculating moment at section. What is the moment at the section? So due to the vertical loads, the moment is V into X, or you can say M dash. M dash means the moment due to the applied loads. It is only due to there may be some loads, maybe not be some loads here, like that way. So anywhere you have the loads, then you can find out the moment at the particular section bending moment. Now that minus, then there will be another equation. If you take moment, that should this into this, that will give a clockwise moment, and this H into Y will give a anti-clockwise moment. So if you are taking clockwise moments positive, anti-clockwise is negative. So your M is the bending moment at any section is equal to the M dash, that is the bending moment due to vertical loads, or you can as a simple supported behavior like beams, minus the horizontal thrust times the Y. What is Y? Y is the ordinate of the arch at any section, because the maximum value is at rise, that is equal to H or B, whatever value. But at any other point, these values are Y values. So you can find the value of Y. Why? How you find the Y? Y depends on the shape of this arch. If it is a parabolic arch, you know what, how to find out Y. Y is equal to, there is a formula already you have studied in your third semester, 4h by L square into x into L minus x, that is for a parabolic arch. So if you know the value of length, if you know the rise h, then at any distance x, you can find the value of Y. Okay? So Y is the height under the point of consideration. Wherever you are finding this bending moment at any section, at that section, what is the value of Y? Y is measured from this line connecting from these two supports. So that is your line connecting to supports. Then from this to the parabolic arch or circular arch, you take section, and this vertical distance in the point you are considering, and to this line is called the Y distance. So that will give you the value of Y. Now, so M is equal to M dash minus Hy. Now put here, what is the finding? What is the d by dx? M minus Hy whole square ds by Ei. You take this total integration of this is equal to 0. Now if you take this whole square, you will find 2 into M dash, then it will be Hy. Then if you take with respect to Y, so that is 0, it will minus Y ds by dx. So it will further solve. It will be, you multiply M dash Y into H into Y square is equal to 0. So then H into Y square ds by di is equal to M dash Y d by ds. So from this relation, you can find out this is the final formula. So what is your, how to find horizontal thrust? The horizontal thrust is equal to the integration M dash Y. M dash is the already explained, that is the bending due to the vertical loads at the section. Y is the ordinate at that section. Then ds by di means you can find the length. Then again this integration can be part wise depending on this where you are taking these things and what are the loads acting. Then Y square ds, Y square, you know the Y value, it depends again 4hx into L minus x whole square by L square, and then ds is equal to dx or some multiplication into dx. So you have to integrate to find the value of Y square dx. So that will give the value of the horizontal thrust. So this is how you can find out the horizontal thrust. Once you find the horizontal thrust, then the reactions can be, vertical reactions only depend on the vertical loads. You can directly find out the vertical reactions, and then you can find out the bending moments, your force, any other requirement, or this radial shear, normal thrust, everything can be calculated in case of a 2-inch arch. Let us go for a parabolic arches. So in parabolic arch, already we have discussed in case of parabolic arch, what happens in case of parabolic arch. if you are going for a parabolic arch, then now let this is a parabolic arch. Here in the parabolic arch, this is your right edge, okay. And if you take any section at a distance, this is equal to your x, and this is equal to your this distance. This distance is called is your y. Okay? Any section is equal to y. Now, if you calculate this relation between this y and x, y is equal to kx square equal to end condition at x is equal to 0. Your y is equal to 0, at x is equal to L, again y is equal to 0, at x is equal to L by 2, y is equal to h. So by putting the equation, you can find out this y is equal to 4h L square into x into L. So you have to remember this, the standard formula, y is equal to 4h by L square x into L minus x, where L is the span, that span means center to center of the supports, and h is the rise. Sometimes it will give center to center support, means that is your L value. And pxy be a point and arch, and ds is the elemental length, and theta with the slope of the arch. So if you take anywhere, suppose in the section you are going like this way, okay, at any point if you are taking this rotation, and you can find out this value of slope at any point of the curve. So dx by ds is the length of the curve. If you take any small part as a ds is the length on the curve we can take. So dx by ds is equal to tan theta. That means how to look like, you can see this is your dx, this is dy. It is a straight line. If you take a small piece of the length, it becomes a straight line. It is no more a curve. So this is your ds, this is your dx, this is your dy, and this is equal to theta, right? We can find out tan theta. Tan theta is equal to dx by ds. Sorry, this is dx by ds is the tan theta, and ds is equal to dx. Sorry, it is wrong. It's not ds, but tan theta. Actually, it's cos theta. Wrong letter. This is equal to cos theta. How can it be tan theta? It's cos theta. So dx by ds is the cos theta. So ds is equal to dx into sec theta, because the 1 by cos theta is equal to sec theta. So this is the relationship we can consider. So we can find out this. Now put the value ds is equal to dx cos theta. All will be integrated in terms of x, because y is in terms of x. Now ds will come in terms of x. Now if you try to integrate your h to find out in terms of this, then that can be obtained. Okay. So now come to this equation. What is your value of h? Now this value of h is equal to m into y ds by ei, and y square ds by ei will cancel. So now ei will cancel out, and finally what will get? It will come m into y into dx equal to dx sec theta, right? And ei will cancel on both sides, and on the bottom what will find out? M into y, okay. In bottom will find y square dx, and then sec theta. So what will get? This sec theta will cancel, this ei will cancel, and again the I is equal to I0 sec theta, that the variation of this at crown, value of I0. What is I0? I0 is the moment of inertia at the crown. At any other point, you'll find I is equal to I0 sec theta. So if we'll put all the things, you'll find out it is come very simplified equation, that h is equal to m into y into dx, y square into dx. So now x is varies from 0 to L. X varies from 0 to L. So you can integrate these things, that x varies from 0 to L, and y square dx can be found out separately. Y is equal to 4h by L square into x into L minus x, and m is again in terms of x, Va into x or something, depending on loads, you can find the value of m in terms of x, y in terms of x. So everything now will come in terms of x, and you have to integrate this two denominator and numerator separately, and find out the value of your h. So once you find these two values, there is some numbers, then h can be obtained. So in case of parabolic arcs with the varying moment of inertia in the form of I is equal to I0 sec theta, where I0 is the moment of inertia at the crown, then you can find out that h is equal to m into y, m dash y into dx by y square dx. So this is the formulae being developed for a two-hinged parabolic arcs, which can be directly, you can put the equations and find the independent values independently. What is m dash, what is y square, what the integration of this, and then you can find the value of h, horizontal thrust can be obtained. Now, like your these jars we have discussed in statically determined structure in analysis 1. There are another two things being obtained in case of the arches. Let us take a arch. Okay. Now at this section, it will take like this, and then perpendicular this. One is the normal thrust, one is the radial shear. Okay. And if this is the vertical and this is the horizontal, okay, then you can find the normal thrust and the radial shear, normal thrust and radial shear at this section, which already also you have been taught in analysis 1, that if you take a section at x, let theta be the inclination, that is tan theta, you can find out the value of tan theta, because once you find tan theta, you can find out the value of theta. How to find tan theta? Because your y, you know, y is equal to 4h by L square into x into L minus x, right? And then you can find out dy by dx. Okay, so dy by dx can be obtained. Now this dy by dx is nothing, that is equal to your tan theta. So from this you can find out the value of theta. Once you know the dy by dx, that is your tan theta, theta value can be obtained. So you can find sin theta, cos theta, all the things can be obtained. Now what is your h? Now this is your h and this is your v. So if you find this angle is cos theta, right? This angle is equal to theta. Now you can find this normal thrust. If you take this your h and the value of v in these directions, then you will find h cos theta and v sin theta is equal to your m. So now this is normal thrust, and there will be radial shear here along the radius. So radial shear will be v cos theta. This is v. So this angle theta, this angle will theta. So this will be v cos theta, right? V cos theta, and this will be minus s sin theta. So if radial shear come this way, so if components of v will be in this direction, will be v cos theta. V cos theta will be in this direction, right? V cos theta, and then your radial will be in this direction. Okay, r sin or h sin theta, right? This is h. Okay, this is h cos theta. H sin theta will be upward. H cos theta is like h cos theta is in this direction, and h sin theta will be this direction, because h is like this, and this angle is your theta. So this will be h cos theta, and this will be h sin theta. Okay. So the net radial shear will be equal to v cos theta minus h sin theta. So these are two equations which is required for you if you ask to find out the normal thrust and radial shear at a section. Then you can use these equations, and theta can be of h already you have found out by this strain energy method, which is equal to my dx by y square dx. Integrations varies from 0 to L. Then from this relation between y and this shape of the curve, you can find out dy by dx. This is for parabolic arcs or any arcs. You can find out this. Then n is equal to h cos theta plus v sin theta, and r is equal to v cos theta s sin theta. If you cannot remember, you can draw this curve and you can show that this angle theta. So this angle theta, this is h, this is equal to n. Both components will come this side. So h cos theta plus n sin theta is equal to the normal thrust in this direction. Similarly, radial shear in this direction will be equal to v cos theta minus sin theta. So these are all regarding this some theoretical background on this parabolic arcs, and depending on this, we'll try to find out these problems. Some problems we'll do for this fringed arcs problems. Now we'll go to this problem of a parabolic arcs subjected to your concentrate loads. Now let us draw a parabolic arcs. Okay, this is a parabolic arcs. Okay, so this is there will be two reactions. This reaction will be at, this is the end A and this is the end B, right? So this will be your reaction, horizontal reaction here HA, and here will be horizontal reaction HB, and here will be VB, right? VA, VB, HA and HB. So these two things can be taken as the same value. As you have seen, this is H and this is equal to H. Okay. Let there and this value we may take is your rise. Rise from here, this value can be taken as YC or Y. Any value can take. You can take YC as the ordinate or Y, whatever, right? YC means Y at crown. Okay. And let the two concentrated loads acting on both sides at a distance A from the support. So from here to here, this value is A, and from here to here also, there is a concentrated load W. There is a concentrated load W, and this value also is equal to A. Right. So this is the problem now. These two hinged darts subjected to concentrated loads at equidistance from the supports, you have to calculate the value of horizontal thrust. You have to find the horizontal thrust. Now you can say the span. So let the span is equal to L. That will be given. YC is the rise of this crown from support. That will also given. Now if you take any section, okay, you can find that two sections. This is a symmetrical, right? Symmetrical means symmetrical with respect to loading, and symmetrical with respect to geometry. So to find the total energy, we can take energy from you can calculate distance x from here. Okay, let us take distance from x here, right? So 0 to L by 2. So 0 to L by 2, we can calculate the energy. Then multiply by 2, that will give the total energy of the arch, because you have to find total energy. Del U by del H is equal to 0. That is our objective, to find out this horizontal thrust. So one section will be from here to L by A, and one will be A to L by 2. Now let us see how to do this problem. Okay. So now write down the equations. But the bending moment between 0 to x, so one section is from 0. One section is 0 less than x and less than equal to a. Right. The first section, it will take 0 to x less than equal to a. Now what the equation, bending moment equation? The bending moment equation, m dash, your m, what you will find out, or mu, what you say, that will be equal to your W into x. Okay, because the what the reaction here? because it is symmetrical, so you'll find out the reactions VA is equal to VB is equal to W, because they are symmetrical. So the reactions will be the supports will be W each. Now what is M dash? Between 0 to A, okay, between 0 to A, M dash will be W into X, right? We have to integrate, we have to find total energy m square dx by 2 EI. So you have to find the equation you have developed, that m dash into y into what is your value of h? If you remember well, what is h? H is equal to m dash y into dx integration, okay, divided by y square dx integration, right? And this integration here is 0 to L, because it is one curve equation, but here we are taking 2 times 0 to L by 2. So between 0 to L by 2 there is one load, and between load here there is no other load. So there are two different sections to find the bending moment. Then 0 to x by a is equal to this. Now a to L by 2. If you take this as your condition, what is m dash? Now that means you take a section here. This is your x now. Okay, from here to here is the x. The support, what is the x? So what is this bending moment? Bending moment is equal to again W into x at the vertically upwards. So that will give a clockwise moment minus again W into x minus a. Okay. W into x minus a. So what this value comes? If you will expand this and do the plus minus, it is coming W into. That means what is the moment at this section? Now this reaction multiply this distance at the x will give a clockwise moment, and this W into this distance. What is this distance? So this distance is equal to the total distance minus a. So x minus a is the distance between this vertical load applied and the section where you will find the bending moment. Now once you find these two equations between this, now you have to integrate. What you have to integrate? You have to integrate m dash y into x. So how to do the integration now? Let us go for the integration part. So how to find the now integration? Let us come to the integration part. Now we find the bending moment. We'll find what is our objective, to find 0 to L by 2 multiply by 2 into m dash, right, into y into dx. Okay? This is our objective. Now what we have done? We have divided this into two parts. 2 multiply by whole. 2 multiply by whole. Then we take one is 0 to a, right? 0 to a m dash y dx, okay, plus 0 to L, right? 0 to L by 2 and again m dash y dx. Okay. Now clear? Now once you find these two equations, now let us find their values. Okay. Now put in the equations and you have to integrate. So you all know in integrations in your plus 2 level or again in the first year mathematics. We are not supposed to teach your integration. So 0 to a, what is m dash? W into x. What is y? Y is equal to 4h by or yc. We have taken yc, so we can put yc. Sorry, yc. That rise at crown, yc by L square x into L minus x into dx. Okay. Is plus a to L by 2. So this is a to L by 2, that is 0 to a. This is a to L by 2, a to L by 2. What is m dash? W into a, and again y is equal to same thing, 4 into yc by L square into L minus x into dx. Now you have to integrate these two things, then you can find out the solution. Now do these integrations by, you know how to do the integrations of these two things. And if we do this, we'll find out it will come like this way. So I think if we'll go step by step, you can find the values. Now see, we multiply here W into 4y by L square, here also W into 4yc by L square. So that can be taken outside. Okay. So we can take outside 4 and it becomes 4W 4WYC by L square come outside, multiply by 2 will be 8WYC by L square, right? This will come outside. Now the integration come to part. What the integration? X square. So x square you multiply x into x square into L minus x cube. So that will be your integration x square minus L x cube, right, into dx from 0 to, right, 0 to a. Then plus a to L by 2, the integration. Now it becomes your a. So a multiply by L minus x. Okay. So a into L minus x into dx. I think this is correct. So one x we have forgotten here. 4yc by L square into x L minus. So L into x minus x square. Okay. So Lx minus x square into dx, and here x square. Now you can do the integration very easily. X square is x cube by 3, and here L x cube means it will be x4 by 4, and here x means x square by 2, and x square means x cube by 3, and then you can put this. You can put all these. You can put all these values here for calculation part. So let us calculate these values. What we'll find out? So it will be 8WYC by L square into what the value will come. One part will come from x cube by 3 minus Lx4 by 4. Okay. Varies from 0 to a. Okay. Then plus will be a into L into x square by 2 minus x cube by 3. Okay. X cube by 3. This varies from a to L by 2. So this total multiply by 8. If you put the values and extend these values, we can find the one of these equation for this my dx. Similarly, you can find the equation for y square. Okay, I'm not going detail of all these values to be obtained, and if you do all these things, you'll find out this value comes out to be one. So now this value will come as finally, if you will go on calculating, and this will come a. I am leaving some steps for you. Please do some textbooks or find yourselves. So finally, we'll find out will come to WYC by 3yc into a yc into a by 3L square. Okay. Multiply by L minus a and multiply by L square plus AL minus a square. So this will the final solution. If you do integration and then expand it and find out the values, so this value will come as your the denominator. Okay. We can find out this value as your total integrated value. Now the second part on this numerator part, you can find out these values. What we'll find out? We'll find out again the term given below, that is your what is the integration 0 to L y square dx. That is the term given in the bottom. So again, now what is y square? You can put the 4h by L square on the outside, and you can put here x into L minus x means Lx minus x into L minus x minus x square Lx into x square into dx, and it varies from 0 to L by 2, or you can take 2 times, multiply by 2, you can take 0 to L by 2, okay, symmetry, and you can do the integrations. So what will find out? X into L minus x. So if you do these integrations, you'll find out this value will come. Lx will be x square by 2, and x square will be x cube by 3, right? So that will give these integration values, and finally you will find, and this is y square. So you have to take the whole square of these things, right? Because it is y square, y is equal to 4h by L square. So again, whole square of this, right? 4h by L square x into L minus x. So Lx minus x square whole square. If you take all these values, what will find out? This will come as 4 into 4 is 16 into 2 32. So you can find out 32. This h is nothing your yc, 32 yc by L4, right? Multiply by 0 to L by 2 a minus b whole square. So L square into x square minus 2L into x square, x is x cube, minus means plus a plus b whole square into x4, right? And then into dx. I think you are able to do the integration of all these things. I am not going detail. And if you are able to find out, these will come as certain values, standard values. If you do an integration, you can directly write down 0 to L y square dx. This is nothing, 8 by 15 into yc, right? Yc into L. So this is the standard value of your y square dx. For any parabolic arcs, the integration y square dx from 0 to L will give the value 8 by 15 yc into L. Sorry, yc square into L. Sorry, yc square into L. So this is the value will come for this integration for parabolic arcs. Now we have to find out the value of h. But the h we have already seen in the beginning. Sorry, but the value of h we have seen already. We have seen the h value is m square y dx by y square dx. So now divide these two terms. If you divide these two terms, what will you find out? If you divide these two terms, what will find out as your h value? So now the h value will come as h. The top part and bottom part will find out. Will find out it will come that in the bottom will find 8 by 15 y is okay 8 by 15 yc square into L. On the top we'll find out 2wyc, 2w, what was the value? 2wyc, okay, into a divided by 3L square, right? You have seen 3L square into if you find your notes, you can see what we written, L minus a multiply by L square plus AL, L square plus AL, then comes minus a square. So this by this, then what will happen? If will come 3 by 15 will be cancelled, will come 5, 2 by 8 will come 8, and so if you do all these calculations, 15 will go up. So 3 by 15 5, this 2 by 8 will come as 4, so it will come 5 by 4, okay. 5 by 4 multiply by WA YC will cancel out, YC square will cancel out, it will be YC, and then L square L will be LQ, so it will be WA by YC into LQ, right? We'll do the calculations here. YC is the top, YC square bottom, so it will be YC, L square L will be LQ, and we will find out this is come L minus A into L square plus AL square plus AL minus A square, right? So now this is the case for these two concentrated loads acting on this structure. We can find out the value of H. Okay, the value of H can be obtained by these equations. I will take the special cases. You can find any value of A, this value can be obtained, or any value of A, you can find out the value of H. So A is L by 2, A is L by 4, A is equal to some other value. So it will do all these things. Then you can find out these values of H for a concentrated loads on this acting on the biology. So with this, we'll conclude this class. We'll meet the next class. We'll do some problems on these two inch jars. So thank you all for attending this lecture.